I said we were going to run the league again, go with the same squad. It looks like this summer some other teams had a completely different idea. But at least our finances are looking better. Welcome to Season 11 of Beyond Blue Brazil. Welcome in. The plan was keep our best players, go again. This was the year we were going to raise money based on bringing some youth through and not really having to make too many changes. Straight away after the end of last season, where we did complete the domestic treble, we decided, right, next season our focus is really going to start moving towards being better in Europe, developing players. We got to set ourselves up for long-term success, so we need to get some of these players through. We've obviously got Lewis Thompson, who we put a lot of faith in at left back. But then we sold our defence, leaving us for 34 million. Mane is off to West Ham. So we had a bit of an issue at the start of this season. Recorded the first episode. It was fantastic, full of life. Even played some games. Unfortunately, the recording was recorded in the wrong resolution, so it was really squashed. Stupid OBS, I'm blaming you. So we have started this season. That's why Mane's obviously played some games now for West Ham. We cash in on 23-year-old Mane. He probably wasn't going to get much better with us due to our limited coaching and facilities. I think he can go become a better player, but 34 million for Mane I think is a very good deal. Now, we didn't get all of that. Remember, we were financially in a really tough spot. We've sorted that out. We'll touch on that in a minute. So, unfortunately, Mane leaves us. The plan for his backup was, well, we've still got Torres, still got Rico, and we would dip our toes in the transfer market, signing our centre back. We still got Kamara, for crying out loud. We also had Paul Veal. We've actually sold him, injury prone, doesn't like big matches. We got a lot from him, 35 games over the course of 2 seasons. He was actually starting to become a bit more of a useful player. However, we did sell him for, I think we sold him for 6 million. How much we bought him for 165k. We sold him for 6.5 million. You know, basically only having him to be able to play for a season and a half because of his injury. Massive profit there. Very happy for that deal. Now, I did mention we have Dylan Torres, so how bad could us selling our defence be? Well, we sold Dylan Torres. Man City came in for Dylan Torres. Now, as you can see, he's now worth a lot of money. He started very well for them. Only one game, but looked like he had a very solid game in that. It's disappointing when you sell a player that young and you know that he could become a real rock. But again, it got to the point where I felt like, are we really going to see the best of this centre back? Very physically fast and that, but maybe needed someone a bit better in the air. We sell Dylan Torres for a new club record 42 million up front. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a very decent deal. Obviously, we picked him up for free. We put time in, got him to develop. He actually did play our opening game of the season, played a 7.4, which is always gutting. He had a very good game. We actually drew that game. We'll get to that in a minute. So we sold him. So we have raised about 82.5 million over the course of just about 3 sales this summer. Lots of players loaned out. We have only signed 1 player since last season. Now, you will have seen that at the end of last season, we signed a goalkeeper, a Brazilian goalkeeper, and we also signed, obviously halfway through the season, we signed Rico Hanels, who is going to prove to be a very important player for us. Rico, who's going to be one of our main centre-backs. Joining him is Albert Thomas, another very good centre-back. I think we've picked him up, a bit of a steal. We did pay 6.75 million for him, but if you just take a cold hard look at him, leading cinch Premiership player, good personality, better header than Dylan Torres, very good mentals, physicals are maybe only slightly lesser than Dylan Torres in the speed department, but really good jump and reach, big physical player, good positioning. Personally, I think he's maybe an upgrade. He is obviously a bit older, but I think he is what we need in terms of centre back. So it's going to be Rico and Albert as our first choice centre backs. We still have Kamara, and we still got the boy we signed from Aberdeen, Charlie MacArthur. In terms of centre backs, I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that going into the season. Everywhere else, we held on to everyone. So although we're weaker in defence, we remain good in midfield. Jack McLean's wide by a couple of teams. Up front, Velasco, Gordon Johnson, McCord, we're strong as ever. We've brought João Renato back from loan from Hamilton. Like to get him involved this season if we can. Lewis Thompson is going to be very key as well. We're going to get him as much game time as possible. Now, Lewis Thompson, obviously, we're looking to build on, but he's still only 15 years old. So we have one more signing in the offing. We are currently in for Leonard Donaldson, who was on loan with us last season. Despite his inconsistency or apparent consistency issues that the coaches see, I've gone in big, 13 million on the table for him. The plan is to buy him. That means that we are basically set at left back for 4, 5, 6 seasons minimum, because you've got a 19-year-old and you've got a 15-year-old behind. Although I'm going to rotate them throughout the season, I think that is a good signing. He's Scottish, he's young. I'm willing to put that money on the table now because we actually have a decent amount of money in the bank. Because of our sales, and although we bought one player and we were in a rough spot, to be honest, we didn't get given a massive budget. We were given 1 million at the start of the season. We got 24 million in the transfer budget, 50 million overall. We are not intending to spend too much more of that once we get the Lennon Donaldson deal over the line. Hope is by the end of the season that will go up to the board, allowing us to get 100% of any transfers we make. That would be very good. Now, remember, we also have moved to a new stadium. Drum roll, what's the stadium called? Cowdenbeath Stadium. Right, it would have been nice if it was named after me. That hasn't happened. Cowdenbeath Stadium, fine. I'll live with it, I'm fine, honestly. Not mad at all. No, it's cool. I'm down with it. What you'll have seen there is also the league table. If we have a quick look, currently we are top of the table. Celtic a point behind us. Rangers 3 points off us. They have an early loss. Unfortunately, we opened the season with a game against Rangers. We got a 0-0 draw. We were very good. Very disappointed we didn't manage to turn that into a win. We then beat Inverness Califistle 5-0. Beat Arbroath 2-1 in the Premier Sports Cup. And we just beat Ross County 3-0. We have been very good to start this season. I hope we continue in this ilk. Today, we draw the Champions League group stage, and going forward, our focus is on Europe. We are going to bring you less cup games, less league games, occasionally bring you the important big Celtic Rangers ones, but what we'll sort of do is sprinkle in a league game with our European games. That is our focus. We're going to move through the season a bit quicker. We are an established top Scottish team now. We need to go that next level. We need to not only become the best in Scotland, which arguably we've won the league 2 years running. You could argue that is well on the horizon, but until we start producing our own players into the first team on some sort of consistency, I feel like we're always going to be like, oh, they're just a wheeling and dealing team. We have a settled midfield. We have players who've played a lot of games for us now at the highest level. They've won cups. Pedrinho's still kicking around. We've got guys, Velasco, who is, I would say, probably one of the best players I've ever had at this level. He started the season really well. He's just overall an unbelievable player. Super concerned. People are going to start looking his way again. But, 22 years old. We've got him on a 5-year deal. I'm pretty happy. Feel quite safe right now with him, but teams are always looking around him. Gordon Johnson's wanted as well by a couple of teams. I'm hoping not too many more players go out before we get into the crux of this season. We're going to take on Hibs in a moment, but we have got the Champions League group stage to draw. If we lose any more players, we have to hit the market and hit it quite aggressively. Make sure we get the right kind of replacement in. That'll be very tough. Gordon Johnson, etc. Absolute ballers for this team, and I'd like to keep them around. I'd like to keep a bit of a Scottish core. I'm trying to get that back into the side. Left back will be locked down with Scottish players. Our forwards are mainly Scottish, other than Velasco. We've got McCord and we've got Gordon Johnson. If anything, it'd be nice to get a couple of Scottish midfielders in and around the team over the next couple of seasons. But aside from scouting Scotland and try to pick up some high potential young midfielders, I'd like to produce our own. We got the likes of John Black and that need some game time, so hopefully it'll become a bit easier as the season goes on to get them game time. My thinking today is we will bring you the Hibs game and we'll bring you the Aberdeen game, and then we will return probably for our first European fixture. But right now we draw the group stage, and I've got to say I'm kind of nervous. We're seeded 4th again. Let's rattle through the first seeds. Some very big teams in there. Straight away, I am drawn to the Porto Group G. Porto are a tough team, but I feel more comfortable playing a Portuguese team than any of the rest. Arsenal, Bayern, Real Madrid, Man City, teams I'd like to avoid meeting in the group stage. Even if it means us dropping into Europa League, we need this year to be a year where we extend our European adventure past the group stage. Oh, I didn't like any of that. We can't get Group E, which is nice. Whew, those are some pretty tough groups. I guess Group D or Group H, weirdly, with Real Madrid. Ooh, Group B. Dortmund. Oh, no. Dortmund, Barcelona, Olympic Lyon. I think we had success against Dortmund. We actually beat them earlier, just a couple seasons ago in the Champions League. Olympic Lyon, that's probably the game. Olympic Lyon needs to be the team that we beat home and away. Barcelona, that's going to be tough. Could have been an easier group. I guess until we manage to raise our reputation in Europe, we're continually going to be seeded 4th, and we're going to have to deal with that. Fun. Our team to take on Hibernian in this top-of-the-table clash will be Lee in goal. Donaldson comes back in at left wing back. Paul Byrne right wing back. Hannell and Thomas in the middle. McLean and Queeley as a defensive midfield. Alex Scott and Pedrinho in the centre midfield attacking roles. Johnson, Velasco up top. We've moved from attacking to positive. Everything else stays the same. The intention is to go out here, pick up the win against Hibs, set ourselves up for a game against Aberdeen next, where I can potentially rotate some players before our big opening Champions League game against Dortmund. I feel like Lewis Thompson has done well so far, but I'm not just going to throw him in every game just for the sake of it, although I will have him on the bench. Need to pick up our form again. Let's continue how we started the season. We have been very good, even in the Rangers game that we drew 0-0. We were by far the better team on the day. Very disappointing not to win it. Aside from that, we've been pretty outstanding. Now, the Arbroath game where we only won 2-1, we did heavily rotate for that game. So that wasn't our best performance, but we took care of the likes of Inverness Califissel already this season with a plum. So I noticed early doors that Novoa Celtic has already taken the lead against Rangers. Let's see what we can do here. Let's encourage the team. We are away from home, so we've got to be a little careful. Velasco whips this. Johnson, it's a great header, but it's not on target. It's more about the delivery there and the fact that he managed to get in that space to take the header. Maybe saying it was a great header, given that it was off target, was a bit silly. Pedrinho not playing great. Either is Queeley. Midfield, we're maybe losing the battle a little bit. I'm going to tell them I don't like what I saw from them. We're going to send them back out. But Pedrinho is catching my eye for all the wrong reasons, right? Paul Byrne into Pedrinho. Queeley. Byrne whips it. Beautiful header by Johnson. Very nice. Third goal this season. Velasco was leading the goal scoring charts. That's the only surprising thing so far. But if Gordon Johnson gets up and running like he has in the last 2 seasons, he's a player we don't really want to lose. Now, there is interest from Germany for him. And the thing about Gordon Johnson is he's Scottish, which we love, but he's maybe at his peak. Now, his peak might be good enough for us domestically, but if we want to go to that next level, I wonder if we need to start looking for a great header by Thomas, maybe start looking for the next great advanced forward that we can bring to Scotland. If we can't just produce our own, that would be better. Great header by Thomas, a great delivery by Velasco. Velasco started this season off spectacularly. We quickly take a 2-0 lead in this second half. They move the ball out to Marwood. Come on, Donaldson. I want you to block this cross attempt. There we go. Oh, what a volley. Lee with a great save. I'm going to take Pedrinho off. I think we'll throw on Waldson. And I'll maybe take off... To be honest, I might take off Velasco and just put on McCord. On McCord, and then Queeley's not having the best of games. I can take on Kamara and just try and close this game off. We haven't changed anything tactically, just some fresh legs on. Rangers have completely turned that around. They're now giving Celtic a bit of a pasting, 3-1 at Celtic Park. Interesting. Could this be the season where Celtic and Rangers just keep each other occupied enough where we can hit our dream? What's our dream? Say it with me now. Win the league before the championship group. Easy victory. Thomas has hit the ground running. I really do think that centre-back wise, you are better having someone who's going to win more headers than be able to run and stop the ball over the top. So what we have done is we signed 2 fairly mobile centre-backs in the Rico halfway through last season, but he's very good in the air. And Thomas, who is decent in the air as well. Slightly better than Dylan Torres. And I think we're going to see a marked improvement in defence. I don't know why. I loved Manny. I loved Dylan Torres. I loved Big Al before them. We've been blessed by very good centre-backs, but until we produce our own, the thing about centre-backs are there's plenty of them out there. This is not wing-back. We can go out, we can buy a new centre-back for about 4 or 5 million who can come in and do a very similar job and then rinse, repeat, sell them for 20 plus million. That's my thinking right now. Sometimes you got to be ruthless. I mean, it worked, didn't it? I mean, 50 million in the bank at Cowdenbeath is nothing to be sneered at by any means. We do have a bit of a time before we take on Aberdeen, so what we are going to do with our time, we're going to go speak to the board. And, we are already improving the training facilities and the youth facilities. Never mind. Me and the board, we're aligned. Thick as thieves. Lennon Donaldson wins Young Player of the Month. He is a player that we are actively trying to sign here on the deadline day. We've won Manager of the Month, which is always nice. Archie Buchanan has won Cinch Championship Young Player of the Month. Archie Buchanan, of course. 2.4 to 4.2 mil. I don't know where that value comes from. I mean, clearly nice physical player, decent mentals. He's maybe improving a fair bit. He's an interesting one to keep an eye on as he's out on loan. We're going to have too many left backs. I'm away spend 13 million on Lennon Donaldson, hopefully. Ben Adamson goes out on loan to Kelly Hart same day. Lennon Donaldson, 13.5 million. It could raise to 15.5. I think that is a good deal because of his age, because of his player profile, and because it basically locks in a left wing back position for us for a number of years. I'm happy to spend the cash. Celtic were busy in the window, spending 59 million. We had the top deal with 42 million brought in for Dylan Torres. We have to register for the next stage of Europe. Fortunately, we run quite a tight squad, so we are gonna. Obviously, our biggest issue is our homegrown players trained at the club is still 0. That's why we need to be bringing through players now. Lewis Thompson, etc. Doesn't actually need to be registered, and he doesn't count as homegrown because he's only 15. So, but he will eventually. I think we'll go with that. I'm missing anybody. We've got Edgard Teodoro out on loan at Sheffield Wednesday. As long as he's getting games, we'll be happy because he's got high potential as well to come back and play in this team next season. Looks like we're selling out the Aberdeen game. 20,000 fans going to be in attendance. I mean, we're one of the bigger teams now, so it's nice to see we are helping out when we travel in such strong numbers. One thing that I've got Quealy out 6 to 8 weeks. That is a big miss as we head into our Champions League campaign. That really hurts us. One thing keeping an eye on is our attendance this season. We actually filled, our capacity is only 15,624, the new stadium. We filled the stadium for the opening game against Rangers. Not so much against Ross County. Still 12,000, which is 8,000 more than we were getting last season. I believe last season our attendance, 4,000 was our home attendance. So we're moving in the right direction. It'll be interesting to see financially what kind of impact that has end this season. An extra 8,000 bums in seats sounds on paper like it'll help us out, but we are spending big money on players these days, so we'll see. Team to take on Aberdeen at Pittodrie today in another top of the table clash. Seems to be they're just lining them up every other game for us right now. Eric Schutt returns in goals. Want to do a little bit of rotation between the goalkeepers this season. Ali is my preferred first choice, but I'd like to have two goalkeepers we can rely on. Lewis Thompson comes back in left wing back. Paul Byrne right wing back. Hannell and Thomas or continue in central of defence. McLean and Kamara comes in for Quealy. It was between Kamara and MacArthur. In fact, I might change that. Yeah, we're going to go MacArthur in defensive mid. Alex Scott and Velasco as our attacking midfielders, which allows Johnson and McCord to line up top together. Go into this positive, looking for a victory at Pittodrie. It's been one of the grounds that we have not fared too well on. We have definitely dropped points here before, but let's try and change that today and make sure we leave with all 3 points in hand. Important to keep the momentum going in the right direction because we have Dortmund next and we need positive results, especially in Europe. So Dortmund is a team we've beat before. We need to beat them again. This is the Aberdeen game. Focus. My eyes just drawn to Lewis Thompson. Aberdeen now. Anderson whips it in. It's a bit of a free header. They don't get on target, thankfully. Another set piece. Anderson whips it. Free header. Again, goes wide. Very much not enjoying how they are getting a lot of free kicks and set pieces. Demand more of the team. Noga. Throws it straight to McLean. He pulls it back to Alex Scott. It's a bit behind him. Gonna have to go back to the centre back. Hannell now. MacArthur. Omas. Rico. McLean. Back to Rico. MacArthur now. Losing Quealy in that defensive mid position has me a little worried just because he's one of our more reliable players and has played alongside McLean a lot. Byrne now. Velasco. McCord. That's a pen. It's very sloppy by Aberdeen. Hacks Velasco down as he's going to go through on goal. We line up the penalty now. It is going to be Gordon Johnson. He slots that one home. It's lovely. Very nice penalty taken by Gordon Johnson. Won and created by the movement of Velasco. Aberdeen they got off to a good start and then they just hacked him down. Velasco really adds something to midfield. I prefer him in that deep line forward role, but when we need him to drop back so we can get McCord in the lineup, he can still be very dangerous with those runs forward. So really good, well worked by him. I could tell him we're capable of better than this, but Lewis Thompson having a bit of a tough time. I'm going to bring on Lennon Donaldson early the second half. So he gets minutes under his belt, 45 minutes for the 15-year-old. But Lennon Donaldson comes in to make sure that we get this over the line, ideally. Alex Scott can come off as well. I think we'll take on Waldson to play that box-to-box midfielder role. Johnson on a yellow. I'm tempted to take last 10 minutes. I'd take João Renato on. I'm hoping we've got enough to get us over the line here. It wasn't a classic performance, but a win is a win. Our defence stood strong. We managed to get minutes to one of our youngsters. Gordon Johnson netted again. Very nice. We'll take that. Top of the table clash and you come out 1-0 winners. It doesn't matter who it's against. Very nice. Tomas, again, solid performance. I think we've done really well with that sign. 6.75 million. I reckon he'll be a bargain. I think Rico's very good as well. Rico's even better in the air, but definitely looks like Tomas has hit the ground running at Cowdenbeath. Top of the table, things are looking rosy. If we have a quick look at the team overview, we've got the most goals, most points per game. That's an obvious one. Fewest conceded. We still haven't conceded. Very nice. 5 clean sheets. Mean defense this season would be something very much to covet. I'd be very happy if we can continue this run going forward. I think that is a good episode's work. 3 goals, 0 conceded, 2 wins, and we got Dortmund up next. So if you're enjoying the series, hit that like button, comment away. What do you think of the sales? Selling Mane, selling Dylan Torres, money in the bank. Is it the wise thing to sit on that money? But that's my intention. I think we sit on it, get to the end of the season hopefully, and see what it does for the overall picture for Cowdenbeath. You know, are we now going to be offered more money end of the season by the board? Are we going to get more into a comfortable position of being like one of the more wealthy clubs and have that ability to continually upgrade our training facilities, etc.? It's good that we're doing that already. New stadium. This is a scene where we really want to cement our place as the big dogs in Scotland, ideally. Join me next time. We take on Dortmund. And I think we'll probably take on Dortmund and we'll probably take on Hearts. So, nice doubleheader. 2 very quick games, one after another. But Dortmund game, very important. Join me next time when we once again go beyond Blue Brazil.